Look, we all have that night. It's 2 a.m., you aren't sleepy at all, and your watch list is a towering wall of 100-episode commitments you just don't have the energy for. But here's the secret. The best anime don't need 50 episodes. Some of the most unforgettable, gut-punching stories ever animated wrap up completely in the time it takes to finish a bag of chips and watch the sunrise. No filler, no fluff, just tight. Complete storytelling that respects your time and devastates your emotions. Today, we're counting 10 short anime you can finish in one night. And trust me, number 2 will hook you so hard you won't see morning coming. Before we dive in, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Alright, let's kick it off at number 10. 10. Another. Horror anime usually sucks at sticking the landing. You get these incredible atmospheric openings, creepy sound design, a mystery that promises cosmic dread. And then episode 8 rolls around, and suddenly it's about friendship lasers or some convoluted curse explanation that makes zero sense. Another is not that. Set in 1998, we follow Koichi Sakakibara, a transfer student who joins a cursed class. 26 years ago, a popular student named Misaki died, and his classmates decided to pretend he was still alive. The problem is, death didn't appreciate the joke. The school is perpetually grey. The umbrella that protagonist Mei Misaki carries is permanently one-eyed, like a cyclops watching the void. The sound design is pure anxiety fuel, every creaking floorboard, every sudden silence. And when the curse finally snaps, it does so with a violence so abrupt and unflinching you'll actually recoil. 12 episodes. That's it. No monster of the week padding, no romantic subplots that go nowhere. Just a tight, brutal descent into a nightmare where the scariest thing isn't the ghost, it's the classroom full of people too terrified to admit what they see. If you've been sleeping on horror anime, this is your wake-up call. Just maybe don't watch it alone with all the lights off. Actually, definitely watch it alone with all the lights off. 9. Hellsing Ultimate. Vampires in anime are usually sparkle, or they're moody teenagers with tragic backstories, or they're complicated anti-heroes wrestling with their humanity. Alucard is none of those things. Alucard is a monster who knows he's a monster and is honestly just vibing with it. The premise is simple. The Hellsing organization, led by Sir Integra Hellsing, protects England from supernatural threats. Their ultimate weapon is Alucard, Dracula himself, defeated and bound to service. When Nazi remnants, yes, actual literal vampires resurrected by a fragment of the Third Reich, launch an assault on London, Alucard gets unleashed. What follows is less a story and more a 2-hour and 40-minute adrenaline injection. Unlike the 2001 TV series, which ran out of manga material and invented its own weird conclusion, Ultimate faithfully adapts the complete manga. The animation is fluid, the gothic aesthetic is immaculate, and the action sequences are choreographed like ballets of pure carnage. 10 episodes, complete story, and no filler. Just pure, unapologetic chaos from start to finish. 8. FLCL. Fooly. Cooley. I'm not going to pretend I understood FLCL the first time I watched it. I'm not going to pretend I understood it the 5th time I watched it. Then a girl named Haruko shows up, hits him in the face with a vintage bass guitar, and robots start exploding out of his head. That's the plot. It's also not the plot. FLCL is a coming-of-age story disguised as a sci-fi action comedy. It's about puberty, the terrifying, awkward, embarrassing process of becoming an adult when you're not ready and don't want to. The robots are metaphors. The giant iron that looms over the town is a metaphor. Haruko herself, chaotic, magnetic, completely unreachable, is a metaphor for every unattainable crush that warps your understanding of love before you're old enough to know what love actually is. 6 episodes. You can finish FLCL before dinner, and you'll spend the rest of the night trying to untangle what you just watched. That's the point. It's not meant to be understood. It's meant to be felt. 7. Terror in Resonance. Zankyu no Terror. Shinichiro Watanabe does not miss. The man behind Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo doesn't direct projects often, but when he does, the anime industry collectively stops to pay attention. They appear in Tokyo fully formed, execute a flawless cyber attack on a nuclear facility, and upload a cryptic video to the internet declaring themselves terrorists. Their targets are never civilians. They expose corruption, embarrass the police, and leave behind puzzles that lead the authorities on elaborate wild goose chases. Hot on their trail is Kenjiro Shibazaki, a disgraced detective relegated to the archives who recognizes their methodology as something far more sophisticated than typical juvenile delinquency. The boys are escapees from a secret orphanage that raised children to become nuclear weapons for a country that no longer exists. They aren't seeking destruction, they're seeking witness. They want Japan to remember what it did to them and the dozens of other children who didn't survive. 11 episodes. Watanabe trusts his audience to keep up, and if you pay attention, you'll be rewarded with one of the most elegantly constructed tragedies in the medium. 6. Anohana, the flower we saw that day. I need you to prepare yourself before you watch this one. Years later, Jinta, the group's former leader, has become a recluse who can't even bring himself to attend high school. Then, one summer day, Menma appears in his room. She's older now, the age she would have been if she'd lived, and she has a request. She wants Jinta to fulfill her forgotten wish, so she can finally move on. The catch is that only Jinta can see or hear her. The genius of Anohana is that Menma isn't a ghost with unfinished business in the traditional sense. She's a mirror reflecting what each of her friends lost in themselves the day she died. The wish isn't some elaborate task, it's a reunion, it's forgiveness. It's 5 broken people admitting they loved someone and were too young and too scared to process what that loss meant. The finale, which I will not spoil except to say that finding Menma takes on a devastatingly literal meaning, has reduced grown adults to puddles for over a decade. 11 episodes. Keep tissues nearby, don't say I didn't warn you. 5. Death Parade. Imagine dying right now. Not tragically, not violently, just suddenly. Your heart stops, the world goes dark, and you wake up in an elevator. And the game isn't about skill. It's about pressure. It's about watching how you behave when everything is on the line and your opponent is a complete stranger. This is the premise of Death Parade, a 12-episode expansion of the 2013 short film Death Billiards. The arbiter of this bar, Decim, is a blank slate, an emotionless being who judges souls based on their actions during the game. As the series progresses, the games reveal less about who deserves heaven or hell and more about the impossibility of such a binary judgment. A kind old woman panics and cheats. A cold-hearted husband sacrifices himself for his wife. A beloved idol hides bottomless malice beneath her smile. Every episode is a self-contained moral play. 12 episodes. 4. Devilman Crybaby. There is no comfortable way to watch Devilman Crybaby. This is not a warning, it's a statement of intent. Akira Fudo is a gentle, weepy boy who cries at injustice. His childhood friend Ryo Asuka, a cynical genius who may or may not be Satan, convinces him that humanity's only hope against demon possession is to become a demon himself. Akira merges with the powerful demon Amon and becomes Devilman, retaining his human heart while wielding demonic strength. What follows is not a superhero story, it is a descent. The demons aren't invading from another dimension, they've always been here, hiding in human bodies, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And when they do, the transformation isn't subtle. People at nightclubs turn into monsters mid-dance. Your neighbor, your teacher, your mother, anyone could be wearing a demon's face. The paranoia spreads faster than the actual threat. Yuasa's signature visual style, all fluid motion, warped perspectives, and watercolor textures makes the horror feel less like animation and more like a fever dream you can't wake from. The rave scenes are euphoric, the fight sequences are balletic, and the ending, my god, the ending. 10 episodes, no filler, no mercy, just a controlled explosion of everything anime can be when it refuses to pull punches. 3. Violet Evergarden. Here's the thing about Violet Evergarden. It has no right to be this beautiful. Violet is a former child soldier, raised as a living tool on a brutal battlefield, knowing nothing of love except the last words spoken to her by her dying major, I love you. In a post-war world, she becomes an auto-memory doll, a ghostwriter who travels across the continent, typing letters for clients who cannot express themselves. Each episode is a self-contained story. A mother writing letters for her daughter to open on every birthday after her death. A terminally ill father dictating his will to the daughter who despises him. A playwright who lost his daughter and his inspiration. These are not dramatic premises, they are human premises. And Violet, who begins the series unable to distinguish between a direct order and a heartfelt request, slowly, painfully, beautifully learns the difference. 13 episodes, technically one over our limit, but I will fight anyone who insists on excluding it. This is what anime looks like when it aspires to art. This is what healing looks like when it refuses to be rushed. 2. Cyberpunk. Edgerunners. When Cyberpunk 2077 launched in 2020, David Martinez is a street kid in Night City, a hyper-capitalist hellscape where your value is measured by corporate loyalty and your lifespan by how fast you chrome yourself with cybernetic enhancements. After a personal tragedy, David acquires a military-grade Sandevistan, a piece of tech that allows him to move so fast that the world around him appears frozen. He falls in with a crew of edgerunners, mercenaries who take illegal gigs for eddies, and meets Lucy, a mysterious netrunner with a dream of reaching the moon. If you've seen any other Trigger production, you know what to expect from the action sequences. The animation is fluid, colorful, and violently kinetic. Limbs severed, bullets trace neon trails through the air, but Edgerunner succeeds because it understands tragedy. David's arc isn't about becoming the best, it's about burning out. Every piece of chrome he installs brings him closer to cyberpsychosis, the complete loss of humanity that turns augmented humans into mindless killers. He knows this, we know this. And yet, like Icarus flying toward the sun, he cannot stop. The finale is devastating, not because it's unexpected, but because it's the only possible conclusion. That's not just good anime, that's alchemy. 1. Erased. Bokudake ga inai machi. There are shorter anime than Erased. There are technically more acclaimed anime than Erased. There are certainly flashier anime than Erased. One evening, he returns home to find his mother, the only person who truly believes in him, murdered. The shock triggers revival further than ever before, 18 years into the past, into the body of his 10-year-old self. His mother's final words were about a series of abductions that haunted their town in 1988. 3 children taken, 1 murdered, and the suspected killer never caught. Satoru realizes these events are connected, and his only chance to save his mother in the present is to prevent those murders in the past. What follows is not a typical time travel story. There are no sci-fi explanations, no paradox lectures, no rules about changing the timeline. Erased is a mystery first, a thriller second, and a deeply human drama third. Satoru must navigate elementary school as a 30-year-old mind in a child's body, befriending the lonely Kaio Hinazuki, whose bruises hint at horrors at home, and identifying a killer who hides in plain sight. The series understands that the most frightening monsters aren't shadows or demons, they're the adults who smile at parent-teacher conferences while their children flinch at sudden movements. So, there you have it, 10 complete anime, all under or around 12 episodes, all perfect for that one glorious night when you decide tomorrow's problems can wait. Whether you're in the mood for supernatural horror, emotional devastation, philosophical thrillers, or just want to watch a vampire massacre Nazis for 3 hours, there's something here waiting for you. Now all you have to do is just start watching. Your one-night binge awaits. And hey, if I missed your favorite short series, drop it in the comments. Consider this your homework assignment. Mine's done. It's your turn.